Stephen Timothy Curry. He is built absolutely differently. Okay, Steph Curry just put on probably the best Game 7 performance of literally all time. He just set the record for most points scored with dropping 50 points in his last game. He went off. I'm sure all y'all seen it at this point. Steph Curry is absolutely him. And to make things even more impressive, they did this on the road against a team in Sacramento who has a very good home court crowd. They were probably the favorites. They were the second seed. And the Warriors were one of the worst road teams in the entire NBA during the regular season this year, and they were still able to win a Game 7 in a hostile environment, pretty much completely off of the back of Steph Curry's 50-point performance that he just put on. And to make things even more impressive, Jordan Poole continues to do whatever the hell Jordan Poole has been doing in the past 2 games. He has been very bad. Klay Thompson was extremely off basically the entire game. Draymond Green didn't do that much. He was okay. And Andrew Wiggins, yes, he scored, but he was also kind of off and wasn't too impactful. So they basically won pretty much only because of Steph Curry. Now, yes, Kevon Looney dropped 20 rebounds and was a ginormous part of that win because of the amount of second chance opportunities he provided, and I will be getting to him a little bit later. But overall, I mean, the biggest recap of the series, I had to start with Stephen Curry. But now to kind of zoom out and look at the entire series as a whole and see what we really learned from it. So the first thing I want to get into is the Kings definitely showed how good they can be and how good they actually are, and teams need to respect them. If they played probably any other team in the Western Conference, they're probably winning that series. Not any other team, obviously, like the Nuggets and all them, they're probably a little bit better, obviously. But like if they would have played any other lower seed, like if they would have played Minnesota, I 100% think they would have pretty much swept Minnesota and they'd be in the second round right now. They just got unfortunate and had to play the defending champions and one of the best players of all time in the first round, which is never fun. But they definitely showed how good they can be, and they put up a very big fight. With that being said, what the actual fuck, Domantas Sabonis, was that Game 7? Really, the entire series you played bad, but I've never seen a game where the game plan was literally do not guard the second best player. And that is exactly what Steve Kerr did to Domantas Sabonis. They just left him wide open the entire game, begging him to shoot the shot. Like they were on their knees praying that Domantas Sabonis would shoot, and he just wouldn't. And that's despite having a good first half. He missed 2 shots in the first half. I think he was 9 for like 11 or something. And he had 16 points, and he just wasn't shooting. Even in the first half, he was passing the ball on opportunities, but at least he was making the ones he took. But then I guess it got into his head a little bit and he started trying to force it, and he just couldn't hit basically a free throw shot that they were just leaving him wide open for, and I've never seen that. But Domantas Sabonis literally was one of the biggest reasons to why the Kings ended up losing by 20 points, because their second best player just could not score when he was getting left wide ass open. And to make things worse, he was getting bullied by Kevon Looney, who basically won them the game off a few rebounds. Because it is one thing to just not be able to score. Maybe it's just not your night. Maybe it's not your series. He's having a rough time, okay? I can understand that. But what I can't understand is the fact that Sabonis letting another big grab 20 rebounds over him and giving them about 50,000 second chance points, which is something you absolutely cannot do against the defending champions that have Stephen Curry on their team and some of the best shooters of all time. You just absolutely can't. That will kill you. And they were able to do that constantly. If I was Mike Brown, I would have been livid, because that is the laziest, worst way to lose. And Sabonis just got hoed every single step of the way by Kevon Looney. There was a point where they were trying to bring Sabonis in and sub him in, and then they saw Kevon Looney was matching him, and Mike Brown told Sabonis to go sit back down because they didn't want Looney in the game. That is embarrassing if you were Domantas Sabonis. And he just had a terrible stinker of a series. I still think he's a good player, but my God, he has to work on his shot, or at least work on his confidence or something. But now that we addressed one half of their big two, De'Aaron Fox actually showed he is an extremely good point guard and maybe one of the best future point guards in the entire NBA. He showed that he can stay on the same scoring level as Curry for little short spurts. Now, obviously, he is not Steph Curry, because no one has ever been Steph Curry, but he is very, very good. He can score with the best of them. He has one of the best handles in the NBA, and just show that he is definitely going to be an all-star for many, many years to come, and maybe even a superstar level player as he gets older and he develops more and more. So we have learned that De'Aaron Fox is an absolute stud and can most definitely perform on the biggest stage. Now, yes, he didn't have the best Game 7 at all, but he had a very good series as a whole. And as far as the Warriors side of things, some concerns maybe that Klay Thompson never really got going too much in the series. Now, yes, he averaged, I think, 21, but his three-point percentage wasn't the best, and neither was his field goal percentage, and you would just like to see him get going going a little bit more, maybe get a hot game where he drops 30, 40, because you know that he is very capable of doing that when he gets hot, and you would just like to see at least one of those games come, and maybe it is coming, I'm sure it is, because that's how good of a shooter he is and how hot he can get so quickly. But he did have a little bit of lumps and a lot of, like, he didn't look like himself at times. I think he was 1 for 9 at one point in this game 7. So you definitely want to see Klay Thompson get going, because he was missing like open threes, which is very uncommon for him. So you just want to see Klay Thompson get going just a little bit more as the series goes on, and as they're going to play against the Los Angeles Lakers, who has people like LeBron and AD who are definitely going to make them pay if Klay Thompson is not hitting like he usually does. And then the last thing I want to get into is what the fuck Jordan Poole. Those last 2 games were the most atrocious excuse of basketball I've ever seen been played on an NBA court. The game 6 was just horrendous. Like, I don't even know what to do. Like, throw anything on a wall, throw shit over it, and burn it, and it still looks better than whatever the fuck Jordan Poole was doing in that game 6, okay? And then in game 7, he wasn't any much better. You know, yes, he was okay, and they weren't asking him to score that much, and Steph Curry played a lot of that game, but even then, the minutes that he got, he just didn't look like himself. So they need Jordan Poole to get back to the pool party days, okay? Pre-Draymond punching him, because he very much needs to get back to that, because last year he was extremely good and was a ginormous part of their finals run, but how things are going right now, he is not gonna be the most reliable going forward unless he can get going like everybody knows he can, and the pool party needs to resume if they want to try to make another finals push. And the last thing I want to get in for this video is going to be the fact that I think the GOAT argument needs to come up, and that is greatest point guard of all time, okay? For a very long time, it's been unanimously Ben Simmons. I'm kidding, it's been Magic Johnson, okay? And Magic Johnson has held that role very rightfully so. He's one of the greatest to ever live. But I think it's very much time to start putting Steph Curry in that conversation, if not maybe above Magic Johnson. Now, I know I'm young, so I didn't watch Magic Johnson play, but I find it very hard to believe that he was scoring at the level Steph Curry did while just being as dominant as he is. And I think if he wins another finals, there will be no argument. And even right now, you can make a very strong argument that he is the greatest point guard of all time. But unfortunately, guys, that's going to be it for this video. So I want to hear what your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think the Warriors make the finals? How far do you think they will go? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like the point, hit the like button and subscribe button in the episode. Word to me, and I hope you have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah.